Unleash your potential. Unleash your potential, reach for the stars, electric dreams align, show them who you are, unleash your potential. Yo, 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 let's go. 1, 2, 3, unleash and grow. Embrace the vibe, set it free, your potential unlocked, just believe. Psychedelic journeys, hearts aligned, step into the future, greatness redefined. Unleash your potential, set your dreams free. In a world of stars, become who you want to be. Stand tall in the storm, embrace the rain, ride the wave of success, break every chain.
Welcome to the Expanding Your Energy Field activation.
Unleash your potential. Yo, 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 let's go. 1, 2, 3, unleash and grow. Embrace the vibe, set it free. Your potential unlocked, just believe.
Good morning. Thank you again that you join us another week, the second week in January. Today is the 10th day of January 2025. We appreciate your presence with us. Thank you for joining in on Kings 88.5 Weekend Motivational Talk. Unleash your potential with me, Sam Andrews. Thank you so very kindly. Hope that you had a wonderful night as I had, evident by my presence with you. We can say how excited, motivated again we are to be with you. Thank you for having us in your company, making us a part of your day's itinerary, your morning itinerary. We appreciate your presence. Thank you. Let's motivate ourselves. Let's get ourselves resetting. We are staying in the period of resetting since it is the new year called 2026.
Unleash your potential, set your dreams free. In a world of stars, become who you want to be. Stand tall in the storm, embrace the rain, ride the wave of success, break every chain. Unleash your potential.
As it is the custom of the show, and this, if it is not comprehensively universal, it is a pattern relatively. Recap. Let's do that as quickly as we can from last week. Last week, we focused on the double arrow G. Let's do a quick recap of the double arrow G, and then we get to what we've got to share with us motivationally. It is your message, your mess becomes your message. Your meds becomes your message. If there is no better way to get out of your messy condition, Kings 88.5 got the solution. If you think you can get out of your messy condition, that just as 2025 was messy, so will 2026 be messy? Well, then that becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. No doubt it will be. But if you think you can get out, then, or if you have not the solution to get out, your counselor, Kings 88.5, has the solution. Let's do the recap from last week's lecture, since we are still in the period of setting and resetting the future 2026. That the start of every new year normally will focus on three significant elements: reflection, renewal, and growth. That's the double RG: reflection, renewal, and growth. We said last week, moving into a new year is a process, and it takes into consideration those three significant elements. Those three significantly, it takes into consideration: reflection, renewal, and growth. And we share couple. One, reflect on the past year. That was the first caption. Reflect on the past year. That before looking forward to the current year or season 2026, you want to take time to look back over the previous year. It helps you understand where you are coming from and where you are headed. When you have taken up such a responsibility to look back over the past year, you will come across several. Within those several, you will see success. And we said, when you do that, you celebrate the success, whether big or small, celebrate it. Not only that, within that same sober reflection of the past, you will pick up delay, setback, and failure. You take up time to find out what led to them and why you should guide against them going forward. That understanding what went wrong and what went right builds confidence for the future. If ever you had delays, setbacks, or failure in 2025, take them as events that have exposed and strengthened you for the future called 2026. We urge you to stick this in your mind. Last week, in 2025, you were knocked down, but you were not knocked out of life. That in 2025, you were knocked down, but you weren't knocked out of life. That as long as you have life, there is hope for a prosperous future. But it will not be if you are not taking or moving towards exerting or pushing yourself into action. It's one thing to be hopeful of the future. It's another thing to be excited, motivated, spirited. It's another thing exerting oneself. The spirituality, that means you are spirited, motivation, excitement, all of those things are only realized in exerting oneself. It shows that you are spirited, you are motivated, you are inspired, self-inspired, you are ready. Everything is known from action. That the future is not just imagination. It is not an imagination. What that means simply, you can imagine the future, you can forecast the future, you can make plans for the future, just as those diaspora gentlemen that got converted. They forecast the future, the forecast time motivationally, inspirationally, the forecast profit, the forecast just everything life. But how empty is the forecasting when you can experiment, you can get into action? It will just be an imagination. Nobody, we said from last week, nobody, absolutely nobody has your destiny. Only you have your destiny. If you think another person has your destiny, or your destiny lies in another person's will or hands, you need to go back and come back. Doing nothing means you will have resigned to complaining and shifting blames unnecessarily. You don't want to be what you were in 2025 with blame shifting, excuses, not exerting yourself, just being idle and being comfortable and saying life has gone against me, God himself is against me, or everything that is happening to me, I can't see my way through, things are just bad off with me, the devil is doing all of these things to me. You want to leave all of those, like the people would say, leave it in the past. And truly, that makes sense. Leave it. That expression, leave those things in 2025, meaning they referring to reflection, do a sober reflection, and it is primarily centered on your pitfalls that you will not be or show those character going forward. We also said that delayed setbacks and failures won't come your way if you give no room to them, but get yourself ready to fend them off. They are both supernatural and natural. All of these things, setbacks, failures, and all of just as breakthroughs, success, blessing, all of those things are supernatural. So it aids with setbacks, failures, and all of those. But there is the solution in you. What we have now is this season of opportunity for continuous learning and self-improvement, that every person should strive to better himself or herself. It does not take another person exclusively, but you who got the life. Every person got his life, her life. And we close King's 88.5 motivational lecture, Unleash Your Potential, with these pieces of hope. There is a strong prospect for the new year, no doubt about it. There is a fresh atmosphere. Brace yourself for that. Opportunities for growth and advancement in life will no doubt unfold themselves. Be optimistic, not pessimistic about life. Be optimistic, not pessimistic about the prospects of better and successful 2026 or life. When you put on pessimism, pessimism is the same as self-fulfilling prophecy. Don't put on any pessimism. Put on optimism. That's how we were created, by the Creator, God. When you put doubt in, when you put on self-defect, when you say to yourself that I can do this, so I'm not going to exert, I'm not going to do it. If I attempt, I will fail. Let me not. That is a self-fulfilling prophecy. You have already defeated yourself. You have already put in fear. You have already put in failure. What would be the outcome of your mentor is the reality of what you taught on. Don't ever put on the jacket or the clothes of pessimism. Always put on optimism. Once you can think this way, you got a good life before you. Take a hard and painful decision. Take a hard and painful decision for your good. And that is by cutting off some friends who were not friendship to you. It sounds comical, doesn't it? Or ungrammatical. Take a hard and painful decision for your good. That is by cutting off friends or some friends or those friends who were not friendship to you. Who were not friendship to you. And we did explain this expression all in capital letters. Let me do that again from last week. Friendship is simply the impact. Friendship is the impact. The impact can either be positive or negative. It can be comprehensive or relative. In this context, we are referencing positive impact. And if you are a Christian and you look at God's definition of friendship, you will see emphasis on impact. If you got a friend and the friend cannot impact you positively, then that friendship isn't a friendship. If you got a friend and the friend is impactful positively, then that is a friendship. If you can friendship that person, then that is a friendship, meaning your impact positively is saying. And this society of ours, Liberia, has thousands of examples of friendship. That is what, in your little understanding, you can say good friendship. When you are saying good friendship, you're saying impactful, positive, one that leads you into a good future, one that brings you out of a messy condition into a good or prosperous condition. So stick with that. It's hard, I know. Many people don't like to do that, but except you want to be the same person you had always been, you're satisfied, and you turn yourself into a self-fulfilling prophecy, fine, then it's okay. But if you don't want to be that person, then you have to take hard decision. It requires in life. And then we ended with this line, spiritualizing the closing. Why you should cut off those friendship that wasn't friendship enough. Why you should cut off the friendship that wasn't friendship enough. Yea, my own familiar friend in whom I trusted, which did eat of my bread, had lifted up his heel against me. We close with Psalm 41, verse 9. Psalm 41, verse 9. Many will understand it in the context of betrayal. Yes, that's true. But the main idea the writer in God is sending across: treat everybody with skepticism. It doesn't mean you are faithless. It doesn't mean you are not the person you are by humanity. If you are a Christian, it doesn't mean you are not a Christian. It doesn't mean you are not a good person. He's simply saying that human being is just unpredictable. Hence, you have to be very careful of your friendship if you must have friendship. That is the recap from last week lecture. The double G, double arrow G, was just a caution as we head into 2026, since it was the first Saturday. Let's now turn to what we've got for today, the second Saturday of January 2026. Here is it. Your mess becomes your message. Your mess becomes your message. It sounds like a good sermon, isn't it? Your mess becomes your message. That is what Kings 88.5 is all about. The innovation, the concern, the care for the people. We owe it to you. And so we do everything to get you going right. It's our obligation. That is why Kings 88.5 is a whole radio. Your message, your mess becomes your message. I know some of you are pondering what is meant by that. And some are just excited, motivated, hearing it because it sounds pleasant. It sounds so good in the ear of people. Your mess becomes your message. The third group will be thinking, how that possible? What's the possibility of that? How can a mess becomes a message when it's already a mess? Once it is a mess, it's done. So how can it become a message? It can be a message. Well, you are right. You will think that way because a mess is just a mess. But it is as simple to understand, especially if you did follow last week's lecture and then you are into or were into the recap. It's nothing extra. The phrase or the sentence sounds pleasant. It sounds pleasant, doesn't it? It motivates. Your mess becomes your message. Good sermon, especially for a Pentecostal pulpit. Your mess becomes your message. If you were in a church and you call this sermon, the entire church going to go rapture. Yeah! Your mess becomes your message. It's not very different from our talk institutionally last week. I am saying the same thing since we are in the beginning of the year. It's all about sober decision making, but with few injections and few extractions. Everything this year, the beginning of this year, decision making. At this point in time, if you are observant, people are confused. People are thinking. People are taking decisions. Just everything within that realm. How to start the year, business, academic, relationship, just everything. Everything within the weeks before us and the months, decision making. Even though life entirely is about decision making, but you got to be fixated. That means you have to have a plan in place, and that plan going forward is what you will use. Just like people have policy in office, this institution have a policy that it works on. You hear the expression managerial policy. It's the same as philosophy, meaning a plan. In government cycle, you will hear agenda, meaning what they have. It evolves from decision making, and that is the decision they are going to charter going into the future. Individually, the same thing. Your mess becomes your message. This expression is nothing extra. It only means personal struggle, failure, or difficulty you go through and can be turned into success. That's all. Nothing extra. It is the same as allowing yourself to do a sober reflection. We are still in the double RG, reflection, renewal, and growth. Your toughest times in life are not just hardship, but motivation for a better future or success. The message is not the message, but the message is you. What that means is the message is not solely the content or the situation you are in, but you, because no one can turn a messy condition than the person who is in that messy condition. That person is the message. That person is the turning point. Your mess is not only your message, but inspiring message. It inspires yourself, provided you can do a sober reflection. The next person is in the message because the next person situation is different from yours. The next person may not have any messy condition, even though everybody somewhere somehow has a messy condition. But nobody can take you out of your condition. Nobody is the message, but you who are in it. It all means overcoming challenges and demonstrating every sense of possibility, offering hope unto yourself, by yourself, of yourself, in yourself, that what you had, whatever was the condition, whatever the magnitude, whichever way it was messy in the past, you can turn it into a message. And that message is what is referred to as testimony. And nobody gave that testimony other than people with you in society. Everybody, some way, somehow knows everybody's struggle in your community, in your campus, in your house, organizationally, relationship wise. Just almost everybody knows everybody's struggle. Struggle is any difficulty that you are faced with. It is the same as messy. Why it becomes messy? Because of miscalculation. So everybody would know. Assume that you are in a community and you have been struggling with a number of things for a couple of months, lasting considerably, 6 months, 9 months, which is almost a year. And then the year comes to a close. Nothing changed over those periods, as some in 2025. And you sit and just look back over 2025 and see how it was and say, I need to make a message. I need to make a testament here. That means you are ready to take a sober reflection. Your mess becomes your message. Everyone has messy condition. You need to face it. Everyone has made mistakes. Yes, everyone. Don't be afraid to talk about your messy condition. You can talk your messy condition to yourself. It doesn't start with talking it out with another person. You don't want to do that. Just like God will say, I'm only using dates so that you know you talk it out with yourself first. Just as God will say in everything, take it to the Lord in prayer. You and the issue, two persons. Your messy condition is personified, and you are the humor in the real human nature. So the two of you there, and you are the one who in the condition. You are the only person who can turn that messy or mess into a message that you have overcome. The message simply means you have overcome. It's the same as testimony breakthrough, and it all starts from here. Don't be afraid to talk about it with yourself, in yourself, of yourself, by yourself. Talk about your messy condition. It simply means do a sober reflection. Look back over your life. See how it was. You don't embark on anything in life without a sober reflection. Why that is right? It gives you a new perspective going into the future. Talk about it. Don't be afraid. Sit quietly in your house, in your office, wherever that is convenient, free of distraction, and just talk about your messy condition. Too many people in this world and in this country did it, and they came out with a message of change, a message of new future. Now, when you have done that, when you have talked it out with yourself, in yourself, of yourself, by yourself, then you want to find like-minded individuals who had the same message or similar message situation. Why you want to do that? You're talking it out with yourself didn't solve entirely the problem. It only means you were in a sober reflection. You got idea, but you aren't 100% satisfied with what you figure out. And so you want to share with like-minded individuals. Like-minded individuals are people who on the same path. That's what the expression like-minded. It means we're thinking similarly, if not the same. And people who had such situation, that's when you have done all of that and you take it to a person after listening to you carefully for some 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, or 50 minutes, depending on the length that you were explaining, uninterrupted. And then the person would say, wow. Say, but yours better than mine. I had this messy condition in fact, yours was only in 2025. I've been battling this struggle. I've been in this mess. Imagine from 2024. And the person goes on to explain even magnitudinal than what you think you have explained. And then the person starts to give pieces of advice how he or she came out of his messy or her messy condition. And now the person is the message. Your mess becomes your message. I did not say your mess becomes message. I said your mess becomes your message. The your is a reference to you. Look back over your life. You will see all the messy or all the mess. Just look back over your life. You will see all the messy stuff. But don't get quickly emotional and throw them out. No. But take time to carefully look at them, and you will find the unmessy from the messy that can become your message. Some people just get emotional. 2025, it was like this. I went through this. I went through that. And they'll just throw everything away. Listen, there are things in your messy condition, good, but because you cloud yourself emotionally, so you will not know. In a messy condition, there is something good there. There is always something good which will turn on the message, which will change your condition. You don't throw out a messy condition. Oh, my life been this way, and I don't think I can make it in life again. I will just move on now. Whatever happens, that's it. Look at the kind of condition. Look at the kind of life I've been living. Look at 2025. Look at how my friend is progressing. Look at how my friend is going all the way ahead. Look at him. Look at their life, how their life has improved. So the person would think that he or she just messed up entirely. Why it is true? There is something in that messy condition that is good, and that is what brings you out of your messy condition with a message. Don't get emotional and throw out your messy condition. Think you're better with me. I can't understand my life. Listen, every struggle, every difficulty, every tribulation, every hardship, every messy condition, there is something there as the turning point. You want to look over it. That's why, that's the main idea behind this whole thing called reflection. You will find solution in your messy condition. You will find something there. Not everything entirely is messy. Everything entirely will become messy by your perception, by what you perceive, what you put on. But when you can take up time, dropping emotion to look at the messy conditions, you will see something and say, oh, let me experiment this. And once you begin to experiment that, all others off, and that one turn your life into the message. The message is the positive change that come out of that messy condition, which held you back but did not knock you down. Instead, it will strengthen you for chattering a new and different codes of life. You wouldn't be the same person. Yeah, another thing that you need to do, your mess becomes your message. Be open about your mess. It's just the same thing as what I said earlier. Talk about it to yourself. But this one, just be open about it. Don't be ashamed. It already happened. Let it not hold you down. Most of it was not your fault. Know that we are on earth. We are not in the sky. We are not in heaven. We are on earth. And every second, every minute, every hour, every day, every week, every month, year in, year out, as long as we live on the earth, stimuluses will continue to work against us. Stimuluses don't work in your favor, they work against you. But we can overcome those stimuluses. They are what we refer to as hurdles, stumbling blocks, and every other thing. They work against you. They don't work in your favor. They only work in your favor when you know that what you are doing will hinder what you want to do. And so you would not pursue it, or you will have developed an idea to overcome that stimulus. Be open about your mess. Don't be ashamed of it. It already happened. Whatever your mess or messy condition, it already happened. Don't be afraid. Don't be ashamed. Most of it was not your fault. Part of those stimuluses are external. Some you were responsible because you miscalculated. Some you calculated well, but the environment weighed on you. Not that you pray for it, not that you wish for it, but it happened suddenly, just as the rapture going to happen. So you don't want to give up. When a situation has happened, when you have had struggle, it's over. The fact that you got life, it means that is the solution. Be open about your mess. Don't be ashamed. It already happened. Most of it was not your fault. Most of what you went through was not your fault. Don't cry that you mess up. Don't cry that you mess up. Don't cry that you ruin your life. Don't cry. Don't cry that you mess up. Don't cry that you ruin your life. If not many, some people do that. Well, I cannot tell you that it is entirely wrong, because people have different situations. We are different by creation. We are different naturally. But what I have come to know over the years from my observation of people and situation, crying don't change anything. Crying don't change anything. If I should impute a spiritual example, there are hundreds of people who cry unto God, and God did not listen. Some people, because they see the word CRY in the Bible, so they will take it to mean sharing tears. I can name you 5 persons in the Bible that shared tears and God did not listen. Why am I imputing this? To tell you that when you have a messy situation, a messy condition, when it has already happened, it has happened. Don't cry over it. Don't worry over it. Don't say your life has gone XYZ. The more you cry, the more you cloud yourself off any solution, and you're not going to be the message coming out of your messy situation. You're just going to be a messy person. You not. Don't cry that you mess up. Don't cry that you mess up. Don't cry that you ruin your life. There is a life. Don't say that life has turned against me. Don't say let death come. Let me just go. I'm tired living. I'm tired with this kind of condition. Don't say any one of those things. You cry. You can cry and cry and cry and cry and cry. You will only be increasing it psychologically. You will think that I'm sounding comical. You would say, oh, you know what people have been going through. Oh, yes, that's true. I do not know. Everybody different. But I have come to know that no one who has cried and cried and cried and cried and cried over a messy situation, over a messy life, ever got a solution. But those who find themselves in messy condition and give it a sober reflection, got solution. That is why I'm telling you, don't cry. Don't cry that you have ruined your own life. You can have fault, as everybody has fault, but move on once it has already happened. There is second chance for a comeback. There is a second chance for a comeback out of a messy life, a messy condition. There is a second chance. There is never an impossibility of a comeback from a messy life to a new life, better and prosperous life. Why is that? Because you got the potential within you to turn the mess into a message testimony. You got it in you. You got it in you. That's why I said, don't cry. Don't cry that you have a messy life. Don't cry that you have ruined your life. Neither must you shed blame. You got everything within you. Crying does not change anything. You can cry as much as you can. You can pour out enough tears as you can. It only creates or increases your already existing psychological problem. There is a second chance for a comeback. Comeback is not impossible. Comeback is a possibility. Comeback is a possibility. You know, then I know of a number of persons who came out of the messy condition, who turned mess into possibility. Comeback is possible. Comeback is natural. Comeback is supernatural. Comeback is a blessing. Comeback is a message. You hear this expression in political cycle too. When you hear that expression, it simply means there is no impossibility to come back. There is every possibility for a comeback. Why? Because there is life. And when there is life, there is the mind to take you out of a messy condition, out of struggle, out of setback, out of delay, out of everything into a new future. You got the potential. I have the potential. We have the potential to turn the mess into a message testimony. As we gradually wind down, when you can think and live your life this way, not only does it build trust in you, it takes away the weakness. By turning your personal trials or struggles or mess into a message, you provide hope to others who may feel alone in their struggle and no way to come out of their mess for a better life. Again, I would spiritualize this one. Do you know what a testimony is and the reason for testimony? Do you know? I'm not talking about announcement. Testimony. Every testimony is a turning point given. Every testimony is a message coming out of a messy condition. Not by the person himself, but by another person. And what happens, it changes that person's, the person who is listening, life. No, you have not understood it. Simply, testimony simply means a breakthrough from a terrible situation. Another person listening, immediately that person comes out of his or her messy situation with nobody talking to that person, but the person who is coming out as the message, it touches the next person. You haven't seen, have you? The person is talking how he or she had a terrible situation to the extent that he or she was on the brink of giving up. And then something supernatural happened. The person is explaining God's handiwork. I'm just spiritualizing this part, what I'm talking about here. The person is explaining that, and another person is sitting with similar or same situation. What becomes of that person who is hearing? That person automatically comes out. That's what it is. When you think and live your life this way, not only does it build trust in you, it takes away the weakness. By turning your personal trial into a message, you provide hope for others. People have changed secularly. Just listening to people, listening to a lady, a man explaining how life went bad off for him. How life just turned against her, as if she, the only person who offended God, was on the brink of committing suicide, but got a single idea from nowhere, but just assessing the messy condition and came out. The next person said, but that lady's situation, is even smaller than mine. If she can come out, what then? Why am I worrying? Why am I crying all day? Let me put my thought together. And that's how some ladies, some women, they stop crying and start thinking. And in the thinking process, they got a solution. And that solution, the message. And that's what people can look at and say, what? This lady, look at her life. This lady was messed up. She bad of life just went against her totally. To see her in such a condition, renewed condition, renovated. They will now immediately attribute it to God. Why I'm not dismissing God, here is the honest truth. The lady stopped crying and start thinking. And if you bring God into it, that's why he gave the 5 senses. You are the only person can come out of your messy condition. Here's another one. Then we go. Our lecture for this morning, your mess becomes your message. I've told you this over and over. Look at it. You can rely on God. You can rely on God to bring you out of your messy condition. You can rely on Jesus Christ to bring you out of your messy condition. You can rely on the Holy Spirit to bring you out of your messy condition. It would never work. It would never work. I know you're just saying, but what that man is saying over there, it's all because we like to be superficial, or people should just be superficial with us. 36 miracles God performed. Look up all those 36 miracles. If you do your counting and careful assessment, all of them were messy. All of them were messy. It was not a walk in a park. It was not a prosperous life. All of those 36 conditions that God in Jesus Christ had to face, they were messy. And they needed message. They needed to come out. But guess what? God, the Spirit, the Son, they didn't do anything. Only two they turned to. The rest of it, they had to start first. What am I saying by this? You can cry and cry and cry and cry. You can worry and worry and worry. You can go around explaining to everybody your condition, how life is this. Oh, sister, I can't understand my life. Oh, sister, since we're going in the middle of 2025, I said things just bad with me. Things just go all kind of way. I can't understand. It look like God, he said tired with me. Oh, all the things that happen to me that sit on, I can't really understand. You move to the next person, you explain. You move to the next person, you're moving from house to house, from friends to friends, sister to sister, explaining. Then you get in your room when everything is over. You're crying in a room, crying. Oh God, how can I get all of this thing? Oh God, you're just crying. And you think by crying is going to help. It would never. You can worry, you can cry, you can shed the most tears. The message that you want, which is the testimony, which is the breakthrough, which is coming out, will not when you can. It all starts with you. You are the one who in it. All of those people who had messy condition and needed a message of turning point, of breakthrough, of testimony, of new life, of prosperous life, they had to act. Look it up. The Bible is our inspiration. Any motivational talk, you can leave, you can talk without a reference on that, because there where you see good examples. We take examples from society and examples from the Bible. I share with you some of those examples from society, from our observation, from our participation in meetings, hearing people, different situations of all kinds. And we put all of those bits and pieces together for compilation to help society. And we see in the Bible. Ask yourself, all of those messy conditions, 36 messy conditions, they needed a message. And they were their own message, but needed somebody to help them, just as people in messy condition, and they have everything to come out, yet they are waiting on someone to come. Some part of last year, in one of our lectures, we saw Kafka, the writer of what's the title of the book? But the writer is Heinrich Freeman. It's all about hope, peace, advancement, all those different lines. And then he tells a story using this character called Kafka. Kafka had a messy situation, and Kafka needed a message. That means a breakthrough, a new life. Things went so bad all for him. But Kafka had the opportunity. It was already set for Kafka to come out of his mess by turning it into a message. Everything was onto Kafka. Guess what? Kafka was there waiting, just feeling sorry, worrying within himself, saying all kinds of things, and just there worrying and worrying and worrying. All Kafka needed to do was to move. Apart from those two that God had compassion on, the rest of the people, they had to move before they got a message out of their messy condition. You know more than I know. Look it up. All of those people, it all starts with you. You are the message, but that message cannot be the reality when you are not exerting yourself to come out. You don't worry about your messy condition. It already happened. You don't cry over it. You don't say to yourself that you are ruining your life. You don't say to yourself that you're not going to have any breakthrough in life. You don't say to yourself that I had a terrible situation in 2025, 2026, going to be a terrible situation for me the same way. You don't have to say any one of those things. You have to be pessimistic. You don't have to be, you have to be optimistic. You don't have to be pessimistic. You are the only one can bring yourself out of your messy condition. You are the message, and you are the reality, if it must become a reality. It starts with you only, not the next person, not me. It starts with you. Your mess becomes a message. It's just motivating yourself, encouraging yourself, inspiring yourself, looking back over your past life and every other thing that happened. You look at it, and in it, you will see a good thing, and then you can throw the rest away, and then you move with that one or two that you found good in your messy situation. Don't think that your life is ruined. Just do a sober reflection. You are that great message. You are that testimony. You are the only person that can bring yourself out of your mess for your message, and you are that message. That's it. Thank you for being with us for Kings 88.5 Saturday morning motivational talk. Unleash your potential. If God permits, we're back next week. However, join us on Sunday at 9 for Focus on Christianity. Again, we are in the beginning of the year. It's all about decision making. And we have a line before us that is exclusively about decision making from Romans, which will be our focus on Sunday, if God permits. Until then, thank you for being with us this morning for Kings 88.5 Weekend Motivational Talk. Unleash your potential. I'm Sam Andrews. Shalom.
Unleash your potential.